Jarvis, I love you. I remember that day. It was by luck, fate, whatever, that I even got on the team. I wasn't even supposed to be on the team. But again, we've all talked about how any plans in a man's heart, it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. We've all got our own plans, but He's got His own divine plan, and that's the one we need to trust. But that incident that Jarvis was talking about, and that little devotional, the Bible study that we had, made a big impact on my life at that age. I grew up in a faith-filled family and church, but when I saw that a high school baseball coach, it was important enough for him to take the time to offer this opportunity, that made a huge impact on me. There was 4 of us. And so I'm thankful, Jarvis, for that opportunity to first meet you and to make an impact on me like that. Born and raised in Spring Grove, Minnesota. So many people probably know where it is, 60 miles southeast of here. My wife and I are 118th in the class of 1979. Pretty young people over there that wouldn't be able to do the math without your phones or fancy calculators. That means there were 36 of us. 118, 2, 36. Get them out later. Trust me, it's true. Married my high school sweetheart. We went K through 12 together. We didn't start dating until we were juniors in high school. But one of the best decisions ever made, if not the best. I'm going to embarrass her now so I can get it over with. But she is the MVP of our family. We've raised 3 boys, 29, 26, and 22. They're all involved in teaching, coaching, that type of thing. They've had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful mother that raised them at the ballpark. She knows more about pitching than I do. I take her with on recruiting trips just to see who she wants to recruit. But we had 3 boys, and they all pitched. They were all right-handed pitchers, and so I was trying to kind of twist the arm a little bit for maybe a 4th one. Could be a girl, right? Everybody wants at least one girl, or at least one left-handed pitcher. You've got to mix lefty in there. You can't send 3 straight right-handed pitchers out there. My wife Terry is the greatest thing in my life, besides my relationship with Christ. I would not be standing here tonight without her. I love you. By the grace of God, I'm standing here. Grace is undeserved, undefined, unrefined, unearned love. We are all saturated with grace every day of our lives, even though we don't realize it. Just saturated with grace. And it's just a beautiful thing. I violated a lot of commandments in my life, a lot of laws. One of the ones I violated is you shall have no other gods before me. I used to have other gods. Baseball, success, winning. Those are my gods. That's what I needed to feel good about myself. That's what I needed what I thought defined myself. That's why I got up in the morning. I was like all the other people who spoke. I lived, died, and sports was just, I wanted to be a Minnesota Twin since I was that high. But it became so important to me that it consumed me. It consumed me. I was a competitor. Jarvis saw that. Jarvis saw that I competed, but sometimes it was still about me and my success and my stats and how far can I take my career? I got my chance in professional baseball with the San Francisco Giants, 1983. Got to play parts of 4 years in minor league baseball, and then I became a coach within the organization and for 12 years. I spent about 15 years in professional baseball. That's where we raised our family. It's a real nomadic lifestyle. I got to pitch batting practice to Barry Bonds. I got the locker next to Willie Mays for a couple of spring trainings. I mean, it was pretty awesome. But not real conducive to raising a family. But there was a defining moment. We all have defining moments. You know, I feel like God has dramatically changed me little by little over a long period of time. I think that's what Seth was talking about also, even though I've got probably 40 years on. But God has changed me dramatically, little by little over a long period of time. That's all about the relationship. That's all about our journey. That's all about our walk with Christ. But there was a defining moment that had in 1986 in Fresno. And I was in single A with the Giants. You know, I was moving away slowly up the ladder. You know, I was going to be a big league. I was going to be a big league pitcher. From heck or high water, I was going to be a big league pitcher, and there was nothing going to stop me. I was going to work my way to the top. I was going to attitude my way to the top. I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That was going to get me to the big leagues. I totally took it out of context. Didn't know it at the time. But that was going to get. I got God in myself. How can I not? I'm a good guy. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He's going to get me to the big leagues. When he fell a little short, it was my goal, but I think he's slowly accomplished his goal. Again, my plan, his plan. 1986, I was having a so-so year. A real good friend of mine got released that morning, got the pink slip, told to take a hike. And I pitched that night, and I was going to go out there and pitch for him. Pitching the game of my life, sixth inning, the wheels fell off, runs on the board, seen that before. Here we go again. And really frustrated. I was at that point in my career where I was so miserable because I felt like I had to win every time, just like Jarvis used to be. If you don't win, you're a failure. And so got beat up that night again on the mound. I went up and I showered and I told Terry that I was going to walk home. I was in Fresno, California. We lived a couple miles from the ballpark, not so good neighborhoods. I was so distraught. And frustrated that I didn't know what to do. I stopped about halfway home on my walk and sat down and cried like a little baby. And finally gave up my sports career and my baseball and my winning and my success and my other gods. I finally gave my other gods up to him. I'd given my life to Christ at a young age, but I held on like this with my baseball and my winning and my success. And slowly, he beat me up, and he made me fail enough where he literally opened my hand and said, "You got to give it up to me, or it's going to be miserable. It's going to be a miserable road if you don't give it up to me." And so I remember doing it that night, finally getting rid of my other gods, not that I haven't made another mistake since then. But I allowed the game of baseball and winning the championships to define me. That's not what should define us. I became involved with FCA at Minnesota when I came there in 1999. Got involved with FCA quite a bit. Ron Backus, who a lot of people know, was in charge up there and did a lot of legacy builders, three-dimensional coaching, all the stuff that you guys do. Joe Ehrman, his book, just outstanding stuff. And I remember going to one of the seminars or one of the meetings, one of the things, and they challenged you to come up with your own philosophy as a coach. Your mission statement, why do you coach? Why do you coach the way you do? What does it mean to be coached? What does it feel like to be coached by you? How do I define and measure success? I've been coaching 25 years, and I hadn't even thought about some of those questions. A lot of them I had. I knew why I coached. I had a passion. I had a lot of things that I'm about to say. But it really, even at my age, and coaching all those years, it forced me to kind of sit down and think about what does define me as a coach. And so my mission statement is this: by the grace and guidance of God, I will be a Christian coach and a servant leader in God's coaching kingdom, and I will trust Him to work in me and through me for His glory and divine purpose. Why do I coach? I coach to teach and develop the physical skills needed to be a successful pitcher. I coach to teach and develop the mental and emotional skills needed to be a successful pitcher. I coach to help young men develop into mature men that compete and make decisions based on integrity, responsibility, and emotional intelligence. I coach to develop meaningful relationships that will last a lifetime. I coach to teach life skills that will prepare young men for the next 50 years of their lives. That's why I coach. One of the other questions says, what does it feel like to be coached by you? It really makes you stop and think. I came up with this. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And so I put, what does it feel like to be coached by me? Love. I failed at that. But that's what I want. That's how I want our athletes to walk off the field. I want them to feel loved. Did a bullpen yesterday with one of our freshman pitchers. He's really struggling emotionally. And he's struggling. You know, the physical part is easy as a coach, I think, now. The physical part is easy. That's the easy thing to coach. It's the one we spend the most time on. I'm kind of a self-proclaimed sports psychologist. I feel like I know a lot about the mental part of the game. Psychology, focusing, staying in the present moment, that type of thing, breathing, relaxation. The biggest thing you have to coach in an athlete is the heart. You have to coach the heart. We got it backwards, most of us coaches. Physical, mental, emotional, heart. Should be just the opposite, in my opinion now. Heart, mental, emotional, physical part. If the heart is in a good place, the feet are going to go in the right direction. So that's what we need to coach. Is we need to coach the heart. Ground balls, the fly balls, batting practice is all good, but you got to coach the heart. So this freshman pitcher was really struggling. He's a freshman. You know, it's a big old wide world for freshmen, especially when you come from the International Falls and you can see the Canadian border from the kid's backyard. Right? University of Minnesota is like going to Mars. And so he's really been struggling, and I did a bullpen with him yesterday, and he was doing really well on the front end, didn't finish up so well. I could see his frustration, and so I said, hey, that was a good bullpen. We did this, we did that. You know, that was a good bullpen. And he got frustrated, you know, with his staff, tears in his eyes or whatever, but I said, Ben, I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Ben. Whether you hit a great bullpen or threw all strikes, it doesn't matter in the big picture. And I just gave him a hug. And that was my way of loving him yesterday. It's, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't know if I could have hugged a player other than if he just threw a no-hitter or something, you know. If threw a no-hitter or shutout, you got to give him a hug. to give one of your players a hug and tell them you love them. You know, that's the kind of coach I want to be. That's the coach I want to be. Championship rings, collect dust. My trophies at home, collect dust. It's all about relationships. It's all about coaching hard. Baseball defined me. What defines me now? I got a coach's Bible, FCA coach's Bible from Ron. And one day I was reading it. We talk about what defines us. This was April 14th. The good news is that Paul experienced firsthand one of the most freeing principles of the Christian life. That what we do is not who we are. He wanted us to understand our value is based solely on what Jesus did for us on the cross, not on what we can do through our own effort. I knew that, but when I read that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I don't know why. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. It was another defining moment for me. You mean I'm not defined if we don't win the Big Ten championship this year? I'm not defined if we don't have a high draft pick this year? I mean, we're defined by the cross of Christ. And that's a free gift. That's that saturated grace I was talking about. That's a free gift. All we got to do is open up our hearts. All we got to do is open up our hearts and accept what he gives us every day. How easy is that? In June of 2012, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, AML. One of the toughest, if not the tougher of the leukemias to get rid of. We all know the cancer world. I bet you I could ask how many people in this room know somebody or whatever, and I almost guarantee everybody raise your hand. It's all around us. Thank God for the Mayo Clinic and Fairview Medical Hospital, where I'm doing doctoring up in Minnesota. Just wonderful care, and of course, the protocol, the treatment, the research has come so far, but so far to go. I received a stem cell transplant from my brother, who was a donor, put me in remission for 2 years, which was supposed to be the all clear mark. Doctor said, you get the 2 years, then we move you to remission to cure. Got to that point, 1 month later, it came back. Once again, my plan, Dr. Warlick's plan, God's plan. Came back, had to get a donor lymphocyte infusion again for my brother, tapped into my brother again. And got most of the good stuff. I think I might have got a little bit of his bad stuff too. Picked up a few more bad habits after that. Put me back in remission for almost a year. Got to hear the word remission twice. That's why I still consider myself one of the lucky ones, one of the lucky cancer people. Some of them never get to hear the word remission. Some never get to leave the hospital. Came back again last September. So, trying to get to hear the word remission again. Barring a miracle, I'm not gonna. Let's just put it that way. Barring a miracle, I'm not going to hear the word remission based on my doctors and reports and stuff. But I'm here, I'm upright, I'm still coaching. We had Maryland in this past weekend up at Seabrook Field. 3 beautiful days, 3 great ball games. We won 2 of them. I had the uniform on for the first time in about a year and a half. Had a hard time going yesterday. But talk about a blessing. Talk about a blessing to be able to be a Christian coach